Welcome to SimpleTech Media Podcast. I'm Tina.
And I'm Niki.
Today is February 1st, 2024, and it is a big day for us. We are launching our new business, SimpleTech Media. Niki and I have joined forces to create SimpleTech Media so that we can create simple tutorials that will help you become more comfortable with being productive using technology. Since today is such an exciting day for us with the launch of our new business, we thought that we would stop and record ourselves just talking about our goals, why we're doing what we're doing, what our intentions are, and then see ways that we can get you as the listener involved in what we're doing. Thank you, Niki, for joining me today. This is our very first podcast ever, and we are cracking ourselves up, I will just say. If you stick around long enough, we are in for quite the blooper reel, and we've already decided that that's happening. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll have to be brave enough to let that out, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. We are both teachers. We teach college students. Niki and I are college teachers, and we actually teach together. We don't often get the opportunity to spend a lot of time together, though. So I'm really excited about this opportunity for us to get to grow our friendship, to also continue to be professionals with each other, but to let people see a bit of a different side of us. We don't often have the opportunity to just sit and have a conversation because we're constantly going from one place to the next. And let's be honest, most of the time at the end of the day, we're just ready to go home and not talk to people from work. But we get to have a conversation today. We're hanging out here on this fine Monday evening, although you all will be hearing this on Thursday. Niki, how are you? How have you been? And who are you? Can you please tell me who is Niki?
I'm good. As Tina said, we do teach together. We do teach a lot of technology classes. And before we get into really our goals and what we want with the company and all of the different things that we see coming forward, I think it will be incredible if we knew how everything started. So Tina, that is all you. Take that away. How did we get started with SimpleTech Media?
This is where I start to ramble. So I've learned in this process, and I intend to be transparent with this as I go through this, starting a new business. This is the way I teach classes. And to me, this is the way that I learn. I like to know the behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, I just kind of did this on a whim. It's something I have been thinking about for a long time. I think really with the onset of COVID in 2020, where we all had to switch to teaching online, it was terrifying at first as a teacher. And as somebody who deals with technology a lot, I was pushed into situations I was not familiar with or comfortable with. I feel like I adapted pretty easily, and then I was able to help people around me, and it helped me see that people that I've been around forever and would go to for advice for a lot of things, everybody's on different levels when it comes to technology. Some things come really naturally and easily for us, and sometimes they don't. And I don't think there's any shame in reaching out and trying to find help. And sometimes it's just hard finding that help in an easy, simple way. I have been thinking, as a teacher, we get the summers off, and a lot of the summers these last few years, I have thought, man, I wish I had the nerve to start a YouTube channel. I wish I had the nerve to post more on social media. I am on social media a lot. The whole process fascinates me to see how people connect together and to see how people really can invest in each other even without knowing who each other are. I just kind of got my wheels turning, and during COVID, I did start posting some reels of just day 7,032 of isolation. And I would do just a silly reel to put on Instagram. It was really just for my friends and family. And I actually really loved it. I am not a designer, and Niki is not a designer either. We both kind of struggle when it comes to that. I am a very creative person, but I don't do well at drawing and design. I know what I like to see, and I can put things together if the artwork is done for me, but it's a struggle. But it was fun. Putting a reel together was fun, and I kind of got the bug from that. But I am not brave enough, and I'm not interesting enough to do something like that for my own personal life. Nobody's coming to me for beauty, inspiration. Nobody's coming to me for recipes. Nobody's coming to me for anything except for tech help. That's what people come to me for. And I have had a lot of people reach out to me who I don't even know, show up in my office with a computer in hand or a device in hand and say, I've heard through, the grapevine, through somebody that you might be able to help me. And I love that. That's, to me, one of the best things that I can do is to be able to help people be comfortable with what they're wanting to do when it comes to technology. It can be a very scary thing, but I don't think that it necessarily has to be. I've been thinking about it for a while, and my brother reached out to me one day. He just recently became a youth pastor at a church, and he was trying to make a picture altered so that it looked like he had a purple beard. It was for something he was doing for an incentive for his teenagers to get them to sign up for an event. And so he told them if they had a certain number, he would dye his beard purple. He is blonde like I am, so it would have, shown up a little bit. He sent me a picture and he said, "Can you tell me how I can do this better?" And he had a picture of himself, and then he had colored the beard with the marker effect in Canva. And he said, "I know there's a way that I can make it look real, but how do I do that?" And I actually didn't know, but I love getting hands-on, and I love to get the experience of figuring it out. I love that. To me, that's the most fun thing I can do. So I pulled up Canva and doctored his picture a little bit, and within just a little, maybe 15, 20 minutes, I sent him the picture, and he said, "That's exactly what I want. Can we do this for my pastor?" Because he was going to dye his hair platinum if they got to the next level of numbers for the students to sign up. I started to do it for him. I said, "Yeah, just send me the picture." And then I said, "Actually, no, because you're going to need to know how to do this. Let me film myself doing it, and I'll send that to you." I did a very quick, very rough video of myself editing this photo for my brother. I sent it to him. Again, this was all just this was on a Friday morning, just a normal day. And I sent it to him, and he called me and he said, "All right, I'm about to do it. Well, let me walk through it. I watched your video. It was very helpful." It was like a 4 or 5 minute video. And he called and he said, "Okay, I do this, this, and this." And he talked me through it based on what I sent to him, and he was able to make it, and it was perfect. It was exactly what he wanted. And then he was able to update his slide, his flyer, whatever it was that he was doing with that, and have it. And the rest of the day just kind of had that heavy feeling of like, this is something that you have been wanting to do, and maybe it's time to move forward with that. So I sat on that the rest of that day, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday morning, very, very early, I woke up and said, "I'm going to do it." And I logged into my computer and I said, "How do I start a business?" And I filed with the state of Florida to have a business, and I picked a name. It's not the name that you're hearing today. It is a different name. I didn't want to trap myself in with my name because I have more dreams than just tutorials. So I didn't want to trap myself into it being a tech type name. And I picked a name that my mom used to call me when I was a little girl. It has nothing to do with the character that it sounds a lot alike. But after I picked the name and it kind of sat with me for a little bit, I thought, you know what? It kind of fits because I am a tinkerer. I come from a family of tinkerers. My dad is always out in a shop building something. He likes to work with wood. My brothers are both the same way. My extended family, we're very crafty. I have family members who do catering. I have family members who do crafts and things that they sell. And it's just part of who I am. And that's my niche for that is with technology. So my actual LLC name is Tina Bell LLC. And it's because my mom used to call me Tina Bell when I was little. And so it's a very special name to me for that. And I thought with that name, I don't trap myself into just technology things because, again, I have a lot of dreams going on in this head. And that's kind of where we started. I did start a little bit. I kind of jumped head first, feet first, head first. I don't know. I might have landed on my head and lost a little bit of brain power. I'm not exactly sure. But I did put out a couple of things. I am behind the scenes constantly trying to better my skills. I do that anyway. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for me to help other people who might be wanting to do the same thing. But I'm learning how to use the mic and learning how to set things up and learning how to record a podcast and learning how to do better editing. I am a self-taught editor when it comes to things, and I don't edit well, but I do know how to do it some. Very basic. And so I look forward to building those skills. But this is where we're at. I was telling people, hey, I'm doing this. And you kind of get that, oh yeah, that's really cool. And then people go on their merry way. I did learn, this is just a side note, I did learn that I needed to be able to condense what I was saying, what my purpose was in a shorter way, because I was losing the attention of a lot of people from just rambling, which is exactly what I'm doing now. We do have our little slogan that we will talk about a little bit later, but that came to be, and that for me has been able to kind of envelop this idea of what my intentions are for this part of my company. Now, as far as Niki is concerned, how did she get involved in this with me? And Niki and I, again, we work together, but we don't really get to hang out at work a lot. That's not what work is for. We come and we go. Niki actually used to be one of my students years ago, and we've been working together ever since. I have taught 2 of her sisters. So I have had 3 from this family, and I love them all. But again, I haven't really gotten to know Niki very closely because it just hasn't been part of what needed to happen at work. Sometimes you don't get that close to your workers, although we get along very well and work together very well. And I very much respect what Niki does in her classroom and how she is at work. I told her just a little bit about this, and her eyes lit up like I have never seen. This is kind of about the time that we started kind of making connections. And Niki, I'm going to stop rambling now because that's kind of the history of where we're at now. And we decided to branch off and do this SimpleTech Media. Niki is now partnering with me. I told her she could work with me or she could work for me if she was interested and she wanted to. But it was because of her interest that I offered that. And I will tell you, having somebody else around to just even bounce ideas off of has been incredible. Niki, this is the question I have been wanting to ask you this whole time. And I should have asked you this before. I added her on as partner because if this flops, I mean, we have nothing. It's not like we're purchasing merchandise or anything. We don't have product to sell. So if it flops, it's just us having fun on a podcast that, who knows who will listen to it. If it goes well, I've known you long enough that I felt comfortable offering you, a partnership and what's happening here. And my question for you is why? Why were you so interested in this? Why are you willing to join up with me, who is completely crazy and insane half the time, bouncing from one idea to the next? What was it that drew you into this and caused you to connect really on a different level with me? I've had a lot of fun over the last few months, really getting to know you better and being able to talk more with you and to be able to hang out and work on designing our things. What's your thought process for this? What's your intention here?
Okay, so I vividly remember the day that you launched Tina Bell. I remember seeing it on Facebook. I remember that Facebook post. I can see it right there. And you said that you launched your company and you talked a little bit about it. And then you started you did give those tutorials. I remember, and again, the vivid one that I'm thinking of is you just simply showed everyone how to use Command T to get your bibliography hanging indent. And when I was looking at that, and I was, again, looking at all of the different things that you put out and what you're doing behind the company, and I was reading all of those things, I thought to myself, this is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I was so proud. I was so happy for you. It was amazing. And I couldn't, I don't know. I couldn't comprehend how you can do the things that we have been teaching all this time. And there's so many people out there that come and ask for our help for just simple little tasks. But because we've been doing it for so long, we kind of just assume that, everybody knows all of the different things about technology. Everyone knows the shortcuts. Everyone knows everything. But I have come, as we have obviously been working through this, there is so much that I don't know about technology, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much that I'm rusty on, and there's just a vast amount of information that we can dive into and we can learn from. And so when I saw that and I started thinking about it, I was like, she's incredible. She's absolutely incredible. And then not long after that, you just talked to me about it. And as we were talking, you could tell that I was just so excited about just talking through it. And I think I said, even in just passing, if you need any help with anything, just let me know, because I love it as well. I've gotten opportunities to design some things for some businesses. And again, like you said, not a designer over here, not even close to a designer. But I love working with technology, and I love seeing how it can be implemented and used in so many facets. And so I was like, if you need anything, just let me know. I'll help you. And then you were like, okay, that great, sure. Because I mean, everyone can say if you need anything, let me know.
Mhm.
And then we started
Exactly.
talking about it more and more, and then you just brought up, well, would you ever consider even like doing this with me? And when you said, would I ever consider doing it with you, it's like, oh my goodness. Like I was so excited for you and so happy for you. And then the fact that you wanted to include me in it, I was over the moon. I could not have said yes fast enough. I could not, I mean, I pretended like I was taking my time and composure and I was thinking about it. But the whole entire time, I wanted to be a part of this. I 100% believe in you and your skills and your vision for the company, which again, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I wholeheartedly am behind you 100%. And I want nothing more than to be right there beside you, growing the company and seeing what comes from it. I'm just so excited to be a part of what you started.
Well, I'm excited too. And I don't know why you're thinking that it's a great idea that you strung me along there over the Thanksgiving break, because I was going nuts trying to know if she was on board or not. I was very thankful though and excited when
I had to pretend like I was really considering this decision. I mean, it really is. It's a very big time commitment, as we've seen. I mean, there's a
right.
lot of stuff that goes into it. So I had to pretend like I was thinking about it. But the whole
Yeah.
entire time, I 100% I wanted to be involved in this. I knew it was going to be fantastic from the beginning.
Right. I hope so. I really see that this could be a big help to people. Sometimes, though, I do feel like an imposter, because I think, man, I barely know anything. I hardly know anything at all.
100%.
But then I think if I feel that way, then how are people who don't have our background and the opportunities that we have every day, how are they handling this? And I think it can be just so overwhelming. Every
Exactly.
time I tell myself, you have nothing to offer, I remember that, I do. And I think you do as well. And I think we have different strengths and weaknesses that will work well together. We've
Right.
seen that already, just trying to build stuff. We're launching our website today. This is the third website that I've made since October. The first one was GoDaddy. That was one that popped up. So that's where I purchased my original domain from. I just kind of dragged and dropped a few things until I got something showing up that it was whatever. I didn't really have time to put into it. I do have a slight little bit of HTML coding, very, very little knowledge of that, just enough to get me in trouble where I think, ooh, I can figure that out. Sometimes I can, sometimes it's a disaster. So, I did that. And then we decided to break out and do a DBA with SimpleTech Media. Mm-hmm. So we purchased more domains and I had switched over to Bluehost. That was one that I kept seeing recommended, using Bluehost, and then also WordPress. So I switched over to that. I canceled my GoDaddy one. And then, I went through that route. And the first site that I made with that one, again, it was just a matter of just getting something on the page and trying to figure that out. And now I am determined to figure out how to get the things where they need to be. We started our SimpleTech one. I completely turned off the Tina Bell one. That one is under construction until further notice. I will get that one back up again at some day. But we've been working on the SimpleTech Media one, and I spent an unreasonable amount of time over the last few days trying to figure it out. And what it is there. And if you are a designer or you have an understanding of building websites, you might look at it and say, what in the world is she doing? But on my end, I really am trying to figure it out. I've already had somebody reach out to me and ask me if I could help build them a website. And that's not necessarily my intention at the moment to be able to do that. Right now, our focus really is on creating tutorials. Again, we're both teachers and we don't want this to cut into our normal jobs. This is definitely just more of a hobby on that end of it. This is something, though, that I would really love to be able to hit hardcore in the summertime and to be able to really use my time there to be able to help people. The website that I have now, don't be too hasty to judge that. It is what it is. I'm trying to learn the insides and the outsides of it. And for right now, I think it's okay for where we're at. It will definitely continue to get better. but again, I'm a hands-on kind of a person, and I have really loved trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. I have found a lot that doesn't work, and that's part of learning.
Same.
That's really, I think, the part of the technology that I like is knowing that unless you're clicking on a link or something that has some sort of virus attached to it. And just a side note, first tip of our new company, don't click suspicious links. Other than that, if you just play around with stuff, really, it's just the opportunity to learn, trial and error. And to me, the best way to learn is hands-on. So that's what I've been doing. So the things that you see from us are merchandise, which we will have. We've had a lot of people ask if they can support us. We are sporting them. We're working on learning what it's like to be looking into a mirrored camera. But our SimpleTech Media merch is available on our website if any of you are interested in supporting us in that way. We are not trying to make a huge profit off of these. We're just trying to get our name out there so that people know that there's a resource where they can get some help. In addition to that, on our website, I'm going to have a form. And as of us recording this, it's not available. But I'm hoping by the time this is actually put out there for people to listen to, that it's on there on the website, to put a form for you all to reach out and say, these are things that I would be interested in knowing more about. This is something that I've always wanted to do.
It can be anything. It can be something, I mean, we were talking about websites, so it can be something with a website, something advanced like that, or even something small. I had a friend come to me and ask how to get my PowerPoint to move from one point to the next point. So little things, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be anything big or extravagant. Even little questions or little things that you've always wanted to know, let us know. Please, please let us know. We would be more than happy to create any of that content for you.
Exactly. Our goal is to help people from all over. I have people who are teachers, people who volunteer and do things. My mom, my dad, my nephews. My nephews, by the way, think that I am the coolest because I am on YouTube now. That's a win. That's a win in my book, and I'm living off of that. I've been flying high knowing that they're so excited about that part of it. We plan on giving tutorials for all types of devices, software, applications, those things. I'm curious, Niki, because I don't know this answer, and I'm curious to see what you'll say. What are you drawn to most as far as technology goes? Where's kind of your wheelhouse? I know what we teach. So we teach Microsoft Office because that's still top in business, and we teach business classes. That is still number one, that's out there. But that's not necessarily the most fun thing to use. And your answer doesn't have to be necessarily a fun application. But what interests you? What drives you? What gets you excited when you get your hands on it?
My answer is probably not fun. I do love learning the business side. I mean, that is what I teach, and I love learning that. I love learning the new things that's coming out in Excel, the new calculations that you can use, how to make Word or even the apps in Word do your work for you. I'm all about doing the less amount of work.
Oh, absolutely.
But lately, now this is going to surprise you because we haven't talked about this, but lately I have been getting an interest on incorporating technology in like a 9th through 12th setting. So I don't teach those grades at all. I don't have an experience in those, but I know that technology is extremely relevant. And so how can we incorporate technology into the different settings in the classroom? And I know that's your wheelhouse. And so because that's your wheelhouse, I am so interested to know what you know. And so that I've had an intriguing sense about that information.
I see where you're going with that, and I'm okay with that. She's using me, folks, to give her all of my details and knowledge about educational technology.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's all she's here for. That's all that she's here for.
I'm going to get your tips and tricks, and I'm going to run. I'm going to run.
Okay, so she's using me for my own. I will hold on to those in the vault. I'm going to vault my ed tech tips and tricks, and I will let them out one at a time. Just a little taste here and there.
That's
seriously. I also have a background in educational technology, and I have extensive work in studying educational technology, instructional design and technology. I have not finished any degrees in that. I have found that I am not somebody who can easily sit down and write a paper. I am much more hands-on. And so working on a doctorate was, I learned a lot, but it is something that I have decided is just not for me. And that's okay. I've learned a lot through that process, but I do have extensive training in educational technology, instructional design and technology, and I get to teach some of that as well. And I'm not getting into my full-time job. This is not the place for that, but I love seeing how technology can be used in a classroom in an effective way. And I definitely will be bringing some tips and tricks along the way. I will unlock them from the vault as I deem necessary, and I will pass that on to you, Niki, for sure. That is, for me, one of the things that I absolutely love. And a little side note, if anybody's still listening, because this is going on for quite a while, I said earlier when I picked Tina Bell that I didn't want to lock myself into anything, and I had a lot of ideas of things that I'd like to eventually do. One of those things is to be able to work with someone, a company, a designer, whatever, and to create some interactive software. I think there's such a great opportunity. There's a lot out there, but I don't think there's enough. There are some things that I have not been able to find, so I'm interested in kind of getting a taste of what that would be like. So that's a long-term goal that I'm very interested in, and we'll see what happens. The sky's the limit.
That's amazing. I'm excited.
This very first introductory podcast has been a little different than the setting that we plan on doing in the future. Mm-hmm. This was just to let you all get to know who we are. Let us kind of figure out who we are. Let us get the nerves out for that first podcast jitter day. And I feel like overall it's gone pretty okay. I can tell there's going to be some editing that we'll need to do. I can tell that we're going to be telling ourselves a look better in the camera for those who are watching on YouTube. Make sure you cut out some of that verbal clutter. I keep moving around. I'm in a spinny chair, and that probably was not the best choice to be in. But I think this was fun. This was a lot of fun today. Our regular podcast, we're planning on putting one out at every Thursday for now is where we're at. We'll see if we can keep up with that kind of a schedule. We don't intend on them being very long. And some things that we plan to talk about each week. First of all, what are we seeing new in the field? And this could be anywhere in the field with technology, for personal use, for just fun use, for educational use, for business use. The sky's the limit. For ministry use, those things. So what are we seeing that's new, that's coming up? This will not be, a long, in-depth report on what's new. Just right. Popping some ideas out there of things that we're seeing that are coming up. We're going to have a tech tip of the week. Plan on being excited about that. I know that that's very exciting for everyone involved. And then what are we working on? We're going to give a little insight to things that we are learning that we think would be helpful for our listeners to know. I think sometimes being comfortable is knowing that others also struggle, and nobody's perfect, actually. Right. I think knowing that there's safety in that, and you can just breathe and just know that things are going to go wrong. It's going to be okay. We move forward with it. We learn from our mistakes, and we move on from there, and it can only go up from there.
Exactly.
Do you have anything else you want to add for our intro today?
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to start making our videos. I can't wait to get feedback from all of you on the types of videos that you want to see. Again, anything and everything that you have, let us know. And we are so excited to go on this journey with you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm excited that we're finally putting things out there. I'm excited that we finally had a deadline. I'm excited that I can get past the fright of putting myself out there. And I am so excited that you're joining me. And I hope that we find others to join us along the way as well. Follow us on all of our socials. We have them linked basically everywhere. And if you end up with one of our shirts, they are on there too. We have shirts, we have stickers, we have other things coming. And we're very excited to go on this journey with you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.